welcome to Pardon the Politics podcast, season 2, episode 7. I am your co-host, Jeezy, along with my brother and my partner in politics, Manny. How you doing, brother?
And I'm chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm doing terrible. Thanks for asking. Thank you for considering my feelings. I'm doing terrible. Bruh, I don't know what's going on. As my grandmother used to say, I can't tell if the day's coming or going. But I know that I'm a part of an experience that I no longer want to be a part of. I don't know what's going on in America. It hasn't been 30 days, but I feel like I've been here 30 years. I feel like that old white lady on the Titanic where she was like, it's been 80 something years. Like, bro, I want off of this circus that I'm in. I feel like we're all in a big like circus tent and none of us can get out. We all are being forced to witness this show. And I'm not entertained anymore. I'm not having fun anymore. The clowns aren't funny. I'm not impressed by the elephant that can stand on an apple without crushing it. I want this circus to end.
Well, we only got, another 3 years and 310 some odd days.
Another 3 years and what, 9 months, 8 months, whatever. Yeah. Bro, this is... well,
y'all, there's been a lot going on, y'all.
There's a lot going on, and before we get into it, shout out to you, the listeners, for tuning in.
Y'all, this it's going to be one of those episodes, y'all.
This may turn into from it being a political podcast to a therapy session.
Hey,
where we air out our grievances, but. For any rate, we just thank you as the listeners for tuning in for another episode. We're so thankful that you are tuning in. So shout out to you.
Yes.
Because, hopefully you feel the same way we feel. And if you are a listener that can somehow make sense of the roller coaster ride we all are on, hey, reach out to us.
help us make sense of it.
Because right now, I don't think anybody necessarily can. I don't think the people that are pushing the buttons know what's going on.
Here's the thing. I didn't know the federal government could move so fast. Like, I know during COVID, when all that happened and they started cranking out these checks to everyone, I knew things were moving pretty fast. I was like, oh, okay. When you get, 100% agreement on everything, you can move that body pretty fast. And I did not know you could move the city of Washington, D.C. so quickly with only 51, with bare majorities on both sides. I did not know you can make it move this fast, but alas, here we are. Things are moving.
It makes you wonder if we were able to move things so fast, then we should have been doing this from the start when it was actually smart moves that could have been made.
If we could have moved this fast during COVID,
bro, oh my God, like.
How many more lives could we have saved? It
makes you look at everything and be like, okay, why weren't we doing this before? Not in necessarily such a negative way.
No.
Because I think the thing for us here is that there's a lot of things that are moving fast. There are a lot of things that are moving but not moving, and then there's a lot of things that should not be touched whatsoever that are now moving too, and that is what I believe is just creating ultimately this chaos that we all are witnessing. So man, so I guess the only place that I can think of that we can begin this week is, I guess, the United
Monday.
States. Yeah, right.
We'll start with Monday.
Well, I guess we'll go with the United States on the world stage. There's been a lot of movement, which you would say, hopefully, thankfully, that domestically we've had a lot of moving over the past couple of weeks. So now we're on the world stage doing some things, and we've took the briefcase of chaos from America, and we took it with us and packed it on our international trip. So we made sure we packed our luggage. So the first thing I wanted to bring up is we have seen some JD Vance sightings. He is now, I don't know if we should call him Vice President Vance. We're going to say Vice President Vance.
No. I think for going forward over this next 4 years,
okay,
we should address him properly. This man is the President of the Senate.
Yes.
Because that's the only job I can say for certain that he has right now, is that he is the President of the Senate. There we go. I don't know if he's vice president. Quite frankly, I don't know if he's president. But according to Elon Musk's child, I know who's not president.
Bruh, I know who ain't president.
And I know who needs to shush their mouth.
Bro, we got to find a way to get Elon Musk's son on the pod, bro. We got to ask him a couple of questions, bro.
I gotta know.
Bro, did you know that Elon has like 13 kids?
13 kids? Bro, be getting it in.
That's a wild number, bro. And all of them are like by codes or things. They got weird code names or something like that. They're like kids next door or something.
They got scanner bars to get in the house.
Bro, wow. Yeah, bro.
But again, 13 kids sounds like a wild number because we're average people. Again, Elon Musk has won capitalism. Would I have a whole lot? Would I likely have some more kids, a whole lot more kids, if I had won capitalism like Elon Musk? I mean, probably not, because kids are stressful. So I don't know how he does 13. But I feel like
he doesn't. I mean, he does.
It's true.
There's a reason why we only see the same kid going to the White House again.
But yeah, I think I think it would make taking care of my current children a whole lot easier if I had won capitalism like him. But he's wild. We got to get that little boy on the pod.
I think that he's the young gentleman's clearance will be revoked pretty soon. I don't think Trump's gonna have him nowhere near that Oval Office again. Oh, no. So yeah, you gonna have to tell Elon you gonna have to carry him across the street to another building. But we saw a JD Vance sighting recently, as JD Vance has embarked on his inaugural international trip this week. So he was overseas focusing on artificial intelligence and security discussions that happened in Europe. And he began his tour in Paris, where he attended an AI summit where he engaged with global leaders to address the AI policies and geopolitical implications of AI. And Vance emphasized the need for free and open debate, expressing concerns over what he termed as evil trend in Europe towards censorship. So some of the messaging that has been spread over here in America, he packed it up and took it with him over into Paris to address some of the European leaders. So,
look, man, I said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week. The word of the year is audacity.
Bruh.
to move on, to lecture the European Union on censorship, when didn't y'all just kick the AP out of the White House because they refused to refer to it as the Gulf of America?
Bruh, thank you. Thank you. The audacity.
What are we doing? I think we've seen this week, someone described, I forget who it was. Mm-hmm. I think we're having a breakup right now. And I think we as a country are not talking about it enough. But right now, the U.S. is in the middle of a breakup with Europe. Mm-hmm. We done left it for our new boo, Russia and China. Mm-hmm. Went back.
I think that's a lot of what's going on too, man.
And I don't know if Europe knows what to do about it. I don't know if the last group to leave Europe like that was what, maybe Germany, and then they came back. Yeah, I think we're going through a breakup.
Mm.
And Zelensky, started calling it out. He's like, "Hey, y'all, I don't know if we can count on the U.S. like this."
Yep.
I think they done found a new thing.
Look, Zelensky saw the writing on the wall. He's like, look, y'all ain't been over there like I've been over there trying to beg them for money.
Right.
Bro, they ain't trying to do nothing. They shut the door in my face. I can't get nothing done.
Yeah, and going back to Vance's comments, for him to have focused those comments, it's like he was trying to guide Europe to do the same thing America's doing now and be introspective and focus on taking care of the things inside your country and not focus on external countries like Russia and China. To which I'm like, JD, that is something very easy to say when A, you're the United States, B, the physical location of the United States literally has bodies of water over it. If someone comes to attack the U.S., by and large, we're going to see it coming.
Yeah. These other countries don't have
Russia, they next door. They can walk over. They can just walk over.
They right across the fence.
Load up the tanks.
Yep.
And move them over.
Bruh, drive them in.
If Russia or China wanted to drop tanks on American soil, they would have to send boats.
Yep.
They can drive them.
Bruh.
Load them up on the train and shoot them across the...
And you wouldn't see it coming.
You wouldn't see it coming. Until it was there.
It's very easy for you to say that.
So... And I think what's important to remember, we're about 27, 28 kind of weeks. Sorry, not weeks. Dear God, I wish we were 27, 28 weeks into this. We're 27, 28 days into the saga. So they're still on the victory tour. So I get it. But the amount of movement that has come out of Washington, D.C. is of a administration that's been in power for probably about a year now. So it'll be interesting. Again, nothing I think is really going to come out of that security conference that they had there, outside the fact of, hey, y'all, this is a real breakup, and we're just going to watch this play out live and in color.
Yeah, man, it was some interesting comments, and that the AI thing was just in Paris, but to what you're referring to with the security conference, after he finished with the Paris summit, he had went to Germany to participate in the Munich security conference, and there he addressed, in his address, he criticized European nations for what he perceived as a decline in democratic values and freedom of speech. So the same thing that he was taking from the AI summit in Paris, he took right over to Munich at the security conference they had, and he urged European allies to increase their commitment to NATO and to Ukraine, highlighting illegal migration as Europe's most urgent challenge. And his comments weren't. JD went over there and he didn't necessarily make any fans. There were a lot of people that took criticism of what he said. Even sitting down with, I believe he sat down with like one of the far right, like parties from Germany or something.
Alice Weidel. I think it's the Alternative for Germany party.
Yeah.
And
I mean, just like not met well whatsoever, and I believe it was the defense minister saying that what JD was saying was not acceptable to some of the comments that he made in his address to the European leaders, and I believe while he was over there, he met with Zelensky as well too, which he kind of said in this conference when he met with Zelensky, and I feel like a lot of this is just blowing smoke, but he said Yeah. Like he said, they had a very fruitful conversation, which if I'm Zelensky, I'm getting a little ticked off about that because I need to be in the room talking to the big dogs. Why am I talking to you? You not even vice president. That's what if I was Zelensky. That's what I'm telling you. You're not even a vice president. But apparently he said that in their fruitful meeting between Zelensky and Vance that they were aiming to progress forward with a real and guaranteed peace for Ukraine amid ongoing conflict with Russia. So,
I mean, the one comment that he's made, that the Trump administration has made in all this, which I kind of agree with in theory at a high level. And I feel like every time I say something about the Trump administration for the rest of this term, I'm going to preface it. I'm like, at a high level with this in mind. But I think when you look at the defense of Europe, I think Trump and JD are right. Like, y'all got to put up, like, yes, we are going to do this. We're going to keep pumping money into NATO, but like, y'all got to pump money in here too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to help Ukraine, but we're helping you. If you really look at it, we are helping Ukraine because of Russia's involvement. Yeah. We're not helping them as a neighbor. Yeah. But it does sound like now that we're trying to work out some payment system with Ukraine. But I think it is going to be on, Europe if you're really that concerned about Russia. Yeah. Yeah. Then I need y'all to move like y'all are actually concerned about Russia, not just saying, hey, y'all, we concerned about Russia. U.S., y'all can y'all do something about this?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I believe that, in fairness, if this is something that you identify as a threat, then where does your commitment to helping this cause to keep the threat at bay, where's your due diligence in that process? Because if you're expecting me to do all the work when it's in your yard, it's in your backyard, I'm overseas. If I'm having this much of a contribution to the efforts to keep this threat at bay, I need you guys to step it up. So I don't think that they're wrong in that sense. I think that these neighboring countries have to do more. But maybe it's the approach. Maybe it is the way we're going about it. Kind of in theory, yes, but in action, maybe no.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know. It's weird. But it's weird to me because when you think about Russia being a threat, I feel like Trump doesn't treat Russia like a threat anyway.
No, so he very much treats Russia like I won't go as far as saying an ally. Yeah. But there is a level of mutual adoration, I would say, between the two countries at this standpoint that'll now have them speaking. Mm-hmm. And, we're going to be real negative over the next 4 years. But maybe it works out. Maybe it's not as bad as it could be. I don't see it happening, but
I don't either. I don't take well to, Russia is we know who Russia is. We know who they are. And for us as a nation to almost treat them, now, like you said, I wouldn't say ally, but it's definitely getting a little friendly.
Mm-hmm. Like we cool.
I wouldn't say that we boys, but we cool. Like, nah, we don't need to be that either. And that I don't like that. I don't think that plays well into how we treat Russia as a buddy, but then we go over and say, hey, yeah, they're a threat. Y'all handle it. The messaging that's what I mean by saying like the action just seems to be off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the one positive out of this whole interaction with Russia, though, is that Mark Fogel, I think that, the American school teacher, Mark Fogel,
Yeah.
who's been in jail for who's been in jail in Russia for the last, I think it was 3 years. He did get released. So positives in that relationship. But we are moving. How we are moving with Russia.
Hold on. But that point, Manny, though, did we ever find out what we gave up to get him?
We released a Russian citizen who was under arrest for, I believe, tax evasion or money laundering.
Okay.
It was a white collar crime to my understanding. So it was like, oh, okay, here we go. We think that's all that's come out right now. For all we know, we also traded the state of South Dakota to Russia, and we just won't find out. We're now leasing South Dakota from Russia for the next 48 years.
Gave Putin some gold bars and a mansion in Wisconsin.
Right. Hey, man. You got to make the people say yeah.
Yeah, bro. Got to make the people say yeah.
So, like, we're moving, the U.S. is moving like we don't respect Europe anymore.
Yeah.
Because if we respected Europe a little bit more, I would think that Trump would be bringing them. I feel as though Europe would be more at these tables as we're now starting to see these peace talks starting to form around what's happening in Ukraine. He would have them on the table. But the fact that we're seeing the negotiations strictly between between Russia and the U.S. around not even Ukraine there, that it's showing how the U.S. is viewing everybody in this.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be real interesting, the deal that's going to come out between the U.S. and Russia as we kind of negotiate through all this.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. While JD Vance was over in Europe doing this thing, it was reported that on the 12th of February that Trump and Putin engaged in a significant phone conversation lasting approximately 90 minutes. And this marked their first direct dialogue between the two leaders since February of 2022. But the primary focus of the conversation was about the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, where both presidents expressed their mutual desire to initiate immediate negotiations aimed at ending the hostility. A little confused because if we're negotiating or talking about potentially ending this war, it seems like Ukraine is constantly being left out at the table. It's almost like the adults are talking, and when we're ready for the child to enter the room, then we'll usher them in as such.
That is precisely what we're doing.
I just think it's crazy how both of them have desires to end the war, but the war was like, how does Putin say he wants to end the war, but he started it? Like, if you want to end it, then just stop.
Just stop. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, like
no one's telling you to keep going. Just stop.
Like, just stop. Just if you want to end the war, just say, okay, we're stopping. But that's not happening
at all.
I think that after the phone call, it was reported that, actually Trump announced that he had plans for an upcoming personal meeting with Putin. And this was going to take place in Saudi Arabia. Like, bro. Now, him announcing this has raised concern for European leaders who fear potential exclusion from critical negotiations affecting regional security. German defense minister expressed regret over perceived U.S. concessions to Europe prior to the commencement of formal talks. So they're like, but then again, Manny, that's weird. On one hand, you have JD over in Europe saying basically like, hey, y'all need to take care of your own problems.
We'll take care of the world, though.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it. Let the big boys take care of the world. That's pretty much what we said.
And now you have them coming in doing negotiations, and the people that these negotiations will affect are
Ain't
essentially at the table. So it's like, this is very wild, bro. This is wild. Like this exclusion, and even down to like when it comes to Zelensky, which he's been very vocal about it. He's gonna get, and we've said it here on the pod, he's gonna get the short end of the stick in this deal.
Always was going to get the short end of the stick.
Like unless they won this war, the only way that he was gonna come out on top is if he won the war.
Right.
If he does not win the war, which we can say for sure now that it's not, I believe I looked at some numbers where they're like 1,500 casualties like a day between the two sides. Like there is no winning this war.
And it's winter. Like, let's remember to still hit 15,000 a day in wintertime is a wild number, because that's when fighting is ramped back.
Yep. So
y'all out here fighting on the icy tundra,
bruh. This is wild. So just the fact of you're negotiating what ultimately affects the region, but the region is not involved in it, just signifies to me that this is just way off. It almost sounds like we're ultimately gonna screw this thing up for Europe, and then we're gonna come back home and say, "Oh, deal with it yourself." Whammy.
Dang. Man, y'all should have really negotiated. That's what y'all should have got a better deal. Negotiated a better deal. And everyone's gonna look at us like, "You negotiated it.
You negotiated the deal."
Oh, well, why didn't y'all negotiate it? If y'all were going to be this upset about it, y'all should have negotiated y'all own deal.
Bruh,
Trump said, "I came in here and negotiated a deal for the American people. And this was the best deal for the American people." That is what he's going to say.
Yeah, bro, this is.
But you know what? There are two people in all this that I know are working really hard, and that is Marco Rubio, and we ain't forgot about old Tom Hannon. He doing the work here, but
boy, they got going off, bro.
They got Marco Rubio globetrotting.
Man, listen. He out here.
That man's tired.
Bruh, he out here working. Now, Rubio he's been involved in a lot of this too. And tied to Ukraine first, I'll say. He has been talking about I want to say it's the resources. I think Ukraine has some like rare resources or something. This led me to think this, man, could that possibly be
the reason that this war is started? Russia,
yes. That's what when I first read that, I was like, I wonder if this has anything to do with it. But apparently, what Rubio is, I guess, working on is he's looking to potentially gain, I believe it was 50%. The U.S. is proposing acquiring 50% ownership of Ukraine's critical mineral resources as part of a support deal. Zelensky has expressed his reservations about this, stating that the draft agreement lacks necessity and security assurance for Ukraine. So basically, we're going to give y'all 50% and basically, So Marco Rubio has been working on that. That sounds like a wild deal to me. And from a Ukraine perspective, this definitely gives me the vibe of dangling the carrot in front of the horse. There doesn't seem to be a way that you can come out on top on the war against Russia. It doesn't seem like that from a support perspective, you're able to get what you need unless you give up something that would allow you to be able to, I guess, rebound from an economic standpoint, and just from the devastation and the catastrophe that a war puts on a nation. If you give up 50% of your rare resources, then what does that leave you to rebuild as a nation? Which in turn, I believe that hinders you from some standpoint economically to be able to even become a member of NATO. So it sounds like all of this is just Ukraine getting screwed.
Yeah. I don't know what to add to that.
Manny was like 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it. I mean,
I see why Zelensky don't never wear no suit, bro. He out here fighting. if he ain't in the battleground, he in these rooms and he like, bro, y'all are trying to screw me every which way. I can't put a suit on.
Yeah,
I mean, this is wild, bro.
So from what I understand right now, the U.S. has given probably close to $175 billion.
Well, didn't Zelensky say that he really ain't get all that? Like,
I mean, he probably didn't.
That ain't efficient.
Well, because I think one of the things when you talk about how the U.S. gives aid, my understanding of it is, we're giving you 100,000. Like $100 million worth of bullets.
Yeah.
So my understanding is what happens is they take that $100 million, they go to suppliers. They're like, hey, how much to have you all make, how much ammunition can you guys make for $100 million? They tell them that much. I'm like, cool. We're going to go into our stockpiles and send that over to Ukraine. Now, because of how inflation works, let's say 100 million gets you 200 tons of ammunition. But what we had in the stockpiles, we had that made 10 years ago. So that only actually cost us 20 million. So while we're sending 100 million, we're really sending what was essentially 20 million over to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hear it from that standpoint. But yeah, I mean, Ukraine, we about to run a game on them. That's pretty much what's about to happen. So, because I think one of the things that came out really early on into the war about how the war was going to impact U.S., we get one of the key chemicals that farmers use for fertilizers from Ukraine. The beer industry gets some of their grain and their hops out of Ukraine. So Ukraine is really key with a lot of the production of these rare earth metals and compounds. So I think, that's why Russia went after it.
Yeah.
Also because it wasn't covered by NATO, is probably the weakest and the closest of everyone for them to do it. But that's why they went in there. And they're about to run this game on Ukraine.
Well, see, now I'm thinking and this may be, I haven't put it on yet, but for our 10-4 hat community, I'm reaching for my hat. But if we are negotiating 50% for support, and if Russia's motivation for invading Ukraine was those resources, then aren't we backhanding Russia too? So then where does that lead us ultimately in this fake buddy friend? Is Russia acting like Drake right now? I mean, the U.S. acting like Drake?
Yes.
And calling buddy, but really behind the scenes, we DMing your girl.
Exactly. Yep.
So that to me is bro, all of it is jacked up. Because we're going to screw Europe over so bad. Ultimately, where would that leave us from an alliance perspective? And when you have things like certain forces where you still got to think about China and all of this, and the cards they play from a global perspective, I feel like we're about to lose the upper hand in a lot of these areas by doing certain things the way that we're doing them. And I don't
most precisely. So let's just pause right now.
Okay.
And look at the state of the U.S.'s relations with every single country in the world. NATO, China, I would say I wouldn't say adversarial. Adversarial countries, Iran, North Korea. I think that's the extent of our, adversarial countries. Our oppositional countries, China, Saudi Arabia, Russia. Our allied countries is pretty much everybody else. So all the NATO countries And then our close friends, Canada and Mexico. Bro, we've screwed up every one of those relationships.
I was about to say,
we've screwed it all up.
bro, I was sitting here like, bro, dang, this sounds like running down the list of all your ex-girlfriends.
Bro. So if the U.S. hits a situation where, let's say, China and Russia and the BRICS countries just decide to box us out. U.S. is like, oh, cool, well, I'm going to go over here with Europe and NATO. NATO's like, nah, you kind of did us dirty.
Yep.
They box you out. All right, well, cool. We just us, China, and us, Mexico, and Canada. Oh no, you've been talking mad greasy. The U.S. is very, very quickly becoming an island by itself.
Yep.
And we got guns and we got weapons.
Yeah, but there are a lot of things.
We ain't got that many guns and weapons.
And we also don't have the avenue necessary for intelligence either. How do we know?
No, Tulsi got this.
Oh, bro.
Tulsi got this. This is gonna be. It'll be good. We'll be fine,
bro.
I believe in Tulsi.
Yeah. We'll get all things we need once she sell all the secrets. I mean, that'll work. Yeah, but and even I want to get back to Rubio, but. I kind of got to jump into this when we talk about Ukraine. Hegseth was also spoke at the Ukraine Defense Contact group meeting that was in Brussels this week as well too. So he was overseas, and he emphasized an urgency of the war as well, saying that as the war is approaching its 3rd anniversary, and the message is clear that the bloodshed must stop and the war must end. Again, don't understand that because Russia started it, so y'all just stop. But
I know a Chat GPT answer when I hear one.
Bruh, right. Bruh, did you see the video of him at this thing?
He just looked uncomfortable.
Bruh, was he drinking? Because he picked up a glass that looked like it had some brown in it. And I know when somebody sip liquor. There's a difference, when you take a sip of brown now, you don't guzzle it. You get
you can't get.
No, he got that little sip and he put it back. And I was like, is he drinking?
Hey, look, he said in his confirmation hearing that he has his drinking problem under control. And when he said he had it under control, that means
that don't mean that I don't.
It means it controls him.
But anytime somebody says I got it under control, 9 times out of 10, they don't have it under control. They do
not have it under control.
But bro, I don't know if any of our listeners, if you go and look at that clip, I swear that was liquor he was drinking, bro. Like you can tell the difference when somebody sips a little bit of Crown or a little bit of bro, you can tell now. And it looked like that's definitely what he was doing. Now, I know some rules are different overseas. They do some things culturally different than we do. So maybe he was like, hey, when in Brussels. What's that? What's that drink? What's that song? Chris Brown. Something in this. It's something in this liquor.
Something in this liquor.
Bro, I think that he might have had a little something. But in this meeting that he was in, he suggested that Ukraine consider its aspirations in NATO. So already telling bro, y'all might as well hang it up.
But you know what? Everyone been saying that from the start.
Oh yeah.
Everyone been like, Ukraine, you not getting into NATO. Like as soon as this started, we're like, yes, we agree that NATO would help you guys avoid this. That's not an option for you, but we do agree that it would help you.
But yeah, that ain't happening. Even he said the goal of reclaiming all Russian occupied territories, he said that was unrealistic. So you ain't getting your land back.
Well, and I want to be key with the context of that statement. Because there's two different, he said pre-2022 lines. Yeah. And I think that's key because I think you have two lines. I think you have the pre-2021 lines for when this started the second time. But then you also have the pre-2016 lines when Russia came in and took Crimea. Yeah. So I think Crimea is gone. I think that's what everybody in the world has said. Like, that's Russia's now.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I think that if you stop the war right now, wherever the line is at,
that's where the line is going to be.
That's where the line's at. Yeah. So it's unrealistic. I just think from the way that I took his comment and what he was saying is basically in a nutshell, Ukraine, wherever the line is at now, you better be happy with it because I don't think that anything that is currently occupied will be given back.
But here's what I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at all this, there were a couple key comments from this week. First, the one from Trump that I'm watching where he said, hey, Ukraine may not be Russia one day, may be Russia one day.
Bruh.
Let me throw on my tinfoil hat. Let me tell you where I think this might end up going.
Uh-huh.
If part of this recommendation that they put in Ukraine is some type of national referendum for the people of Ukraine in the most democratic way, vote whether they want to be an independent country or a part of Russia. I think that's where it's going. And we already know and we already know where this vote is going to land if that happens.
Oh, facts, bro. Oh,
Boy,
bro, if it has to come down to that, oh, bro, you already know they're gonna be willing and dealing. That fix is already in.
Already in.
I would say, and I feel like that's been rumblings before of something of that nature being done.
Well, they tried that in in part of the area that Russia has already captured, the Donetsk, the kind of the eastern part. They had a referendum, and that referendum said that section, essentially that state, wanted to be part of Russia, but there was a lot of complaints of like ballot stuffing and people not being able to vote. But that's where I think this is going. That way on the international stage, Russia and the U.S. can say, oh, well, the people voted. And, I think we just got to do the will of the people. And I think that's where this lands. And Vladdy,
again,
it's not looking good for you, brother. It's not looking good.
You screwed, brother. And even Hegseth, before I jump back over to the Rubio, Hegseth even urged European nations to take more of an active role in their own defense and in supporting Ukraine. So again, essentially, which is weird, U.S. getting their hands out of it, but will have their hands in the negotiations of what happens. But he's indicated that the U.S. would reduce its focus on European security due to other global commitments. And these remarks that Hegseth made varied in reaction. It was a Senate Armed Services Chair, Roger, I want to say Wicker was his name, expressed that he was puzzled and disturbed by Hegseth's comments, highlighting that it basically did not align with the views of the political circle in the United States. So you had him even kind of signaling and saying some of the same things that Trump has expressed, Putin has expressed, that what's my guy named Vance, that Vance has said, and then now going back to Rubio, you have Rubio saying, hey, as part of the I guess a payment or I guess in good faith of what the U.S. has been able to do to support you, 50% of your resources should be owned by us, which again, that sounds even more crazy, being that, Ukraine is in the position that they're in. So, man, they're in a bad, I would say a pickle, but I think
there's something else.
you might be worse than a pickle. I don't even know what you are, Ukraine, but I just, there is no win in this situation. And it's the crazy thing is that there doesn't seem to be a win for anybody that is of the lesser of any war.
I was getting ready to say, it's like, I'm glad you said that, because I was like, what are you talking about? Russia's about to win.
Yeah, Russia's going to win.
Russia's about to win. Saudi Arabia is about to win. China is about to win. Anytime that you can drive any type of wedge in any type of alliance, you're about to have some level of victory. So, no, there's going to be people that win. Not the people involved, but there will be winners.
And it just makes me think of Ukraine being in that position, Palestine, as we talked last week. Potentially being in a similar fate as far as what they will look like post the war that they're in.
Look, they're going to have all of these new hotels and resorts and all inclusive resort.
Bro, playing golf on the Gaza Strip.
Right. It's going to be great.
Wow.
You can tee off in the Holy Land. What?
Bro.
What?
Tee off in the Holy Land.
Tee off in the Holy Land. But it's going to be great, man.
But of course, with Trump making the Riviera in the Middle East, Rubio was over in the Middle East for engagements as well too, and he visited Israel. Rubio been working, bro, because it won't like last week
Working.
he was in Panama, then
Look,
he was doing here, now he's over.
between the U.S. The hardest job in America right now might be the U.S. Secretary of State, because Biden had Blinken ripping and running.
Oh yeah,
globe trotting as well.
Blinken was moving too, so he definitely. This is definitely a. If you ever decide to get into politics, you might want to pay attention to how the Secretary of State moving. But he was in the Middle East for engagements as well, and he met with our boy Big Benny in Jerusalem, and he expressed strong support for Israel's objective to eradicate Hamas. And he emphasized that peace is unattainable as long as Hamas remains a threat, casting doubt on the stability of the current ceasefire in Gaza. We know this past week it got shaky with the ceasefire, that they were like, look, y'all boys got to Saturday to get it back popping, or we about to start dropping bombs again.
If my people ain't at my door when I open up on Saturday, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Bruh, it's on and popping. We're not playing no more.
And in less than 12 hours, they're like, oh yeah, no, we good. They gonna be out on Friday. They're gonna be out on Friday.
ETA shows a little sooner than we expected.
Problem solved.
And this sounds crazy. I know this might sound crazy, but I would love to hear from Hamas. What did you say? What happened that you said Israel didn't do that they didn't do? Because we heard that you said that they didn't hold to the conditions of the ceasefire, but what was it that they did not do? Because were they valid in what they said? Because we don't know, because we obviously don't hear from Hamas in this way. But I would love to know the details of what actually were they accusing Israel of not doing. That essentially they started back up with the release of the hostages. But what was the initial thing that caused a disturbance in the ceasefire? I'd be interested to know that.
You got to think it has something to do with them not withdrawing out of somewhere.
Okay.
That would be my only thought. Because I know right before this happened, there was an announcement that Israel was going to be, withdrawing out of certain areas to return that control over. But I don't know. But they responded back.
Oh yeah. And in his Middle East visit as well too, he spoke in this joint press conference with Netanyahu. Rubio stated he talked about Iran too. Iran called a stray too. They said, hey, there will be no nuclear Iran, period.
Well, and going to what happened Sunday morning, Netanyahu coming out, he vowed to finish the job against Iran.
Yeah.
And
bro.
Like, this is what I be talking about. Like, we be in everybody's business. Now, the U.S., one of our top concerns should be a nuclear Iran.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
And do we save some level of U.S. stress by Israel handling it and not the U.S.? Yes. Yes, we do. But on the flip side, if Israel's handling it, we're involved anyways.
Yeah.
So do you try to do another like nuclear deal with Iran? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if we want to truly move to a non-nuclear Middle East, you got to have everyone from the Middle East at the table to design that solution, and for it to be long-lasting and successful. And we can't get everyone to the table because Trump, you're yelling at everyone, y'all need to take the Palestinian people because I need a hotel. I need to put up a hotel here. So, bro, everyone needs to chill.
Everybody got to chill.
Everybody got to chill. We doing way too much. Y'all, we just got out of a there should have been some type of global celebration that
Bro,
we
we
made
all
it out of the pandemic.
Bro, COVID should have brought the world together.
No.
After we finally got to a point where we got COVID under control, we should have all been like the Whovilles the morning of Christmas when they woke up and found out that even though the Grinch had taken all their presents, they still had each other.
See, that's not what I was expecting. Was Independence Day.
Oh,
in my mind, this is how this works. It's Independence Day. And when they took down that mothership and they say over the radio, call the other countries and tell them how we took down the mothership. And then it was everyone's happy.
Everybody cheering.
Hey, call the other countries, tell them how to take down COVID. Bruh. Everyone's happy. Nope. Back to bed. Oh, we got COVID under control. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yep, it's time to get it popping.
Well, where were we?
Bro, everybody just gotta chill, man. And I just feel like the streets is hot, bro.
Hot.
The streets is hot.
Hot.
And it's wild because, Rubio's working overtime. And so, he's over there doing this and working that. But even down to on our side of the pond, he's working with trying to get the U.S. and Mexico to, work together on collaborating on curbing the trafficking of firearms into the country. So he's talking about the migration issue, the fentanyl across the border, and trying to get joint efforts to address the issues. And I mean, he's working overtime, but it's just like a lot is going on, man.
The gun thing is funny because there was that whole U.S. Operation Fast and Furious that was slated to get guns across the border.
Yeah.
But, hey man, I hope the salary's worth it.
Bruh. I hope it is, because God knows. And you gotta think though, for Rubio, who out of all the confirmations, I think at least I would say that I believe, and I believe you do as well, he was the one nominee that Trump had that we were like, yes. And so far, what he has done, yes. Cool. He is doing what he's supposed to do, and and for the most part, in accordance to the agenda,
it's not going bad.
Yeah,
it's not going horrible yet.
But my Lord, man, I think just to wrap up the segment, just us on the world stage, we need an intermission.
Bro,
we need to take a water break.
Bro, I gotta go pee.
Yeah, we need to chill because now on the world stage we are doing a lot, and it is crazy what's going on right now on the world stage.
I think Trump. You heard it from the boys on the pod. You've worked hard enough. You've worked hard enough these first 27 days that we don't need you to do anything else.
Nah, you can put the Sharpie down.
So why don't put the Sharpie down, grab your boy Elon.
Yep.
Let's go.
Why don't y'all go watch a movie together?
Watch a movie. Y'all head down to Mar-a-Lago. Y'all go play a couple rounds. We'll send the Secret Service. We'll make sure y'all are safe. What?
Yeah.
Why don't y'all just go chill? We got it from here.
Yeah.
we got it from here.
Because I need a break.
I need a break.
Bruh, I feel like we're on the defensive side of the ball, and we have been burnt back to back to back, and we all got our hands on our knees and breathing heavy, just like, bruh. Can we get off the field?
Currently, the U.S. is Ryan Gosling, and we are absolute liability at corner right now.
It's a lot going on, bro. And to make it the segue into our next segment, to make it worse, this is just the U.S. on the world stage, but we got some stuff going on at home too. And I don't know if you guys have been aware of or have paid attention, but from our justice system perspective, particularly the Department of Justice, we got some loose footing going on, man. We got some stuff going on that ain't adding up right. So,
man,
On previous episodes, you may have heard on a pickle of the week that we made New York
Oh,
City
episode 3.
episode 3.
Episode 3.
Season 1, episode 3, we made New York City Mayor Eric Adams our pickle of the week. And if you're not familiar with what happened, Mayor Adams was facing allegations of accepting bribes from real estate developers in exchange for favorable city contracts. And these charges were part of a broader investigation into corruption. He was doing some things with Turkey and providing favors, and he was doing a lot of stuff he shouldn't be doing. Well, it was reported that this week that it was a recent decision by the U.S. Department of Justice to dismiss his federal corruption charges, which has sparked a lot of controversy and internal turmoil within the department. Basically, now Trump said he was not aware of any of these things. But if you've noticed recently, when these charges got dropped, Eric Adams started aligning himself pretty close to Donald Trump. You know, when Tom Homan was looking to do the going hunting in New York City, he sat down with Eric Adams, and he was very, friendly to him. And he even skipped out on, the Black History Month events that were taking place. In light of that, to go to the inauguration of Trump, and it was a bunch of things that he just was doing just to really align himself, even sitting down with Trump to discuss some certain things. In case you didn't know, Eric Adams is a Democrat. So
I went to digging. I said, because I got to know. I got to know what's happening here. Allegedly, there is some type of very quiet deal that has happened. Again, tinfoil hat. Throw it on.
Get it on.
Allegedly, that there is some type of potential agreement between Adams and the Trump administration that was linked to the dismissal of the charges. Basically, my understanding is that, hey, for us dismissing the charges against you, the city of New York is going to work a whole lot closer with federal immigration efforts, including giving access to ICE, access to city facilities, and allowing them to move more freely within the city of New York. So that look.
Wow. I'm looking here that it's reported that the deputy attorney directed the federal prosecutors to dismiss the case against Eric Adams, and this was reportedly issued to secure his cooperation with the Trump administration's immigration enforcement policies, particularly in managing the influx of migrants in New York City. So, so with all this happened, the order to drop the charges led to the resignation of 7 DOJ prosecutors, including the acting U.S. attorney of the Southern District of New York, and the assistant U.S. attorney as well. And in her resignation letter, she expressed concern that the dismissal was intended as a quid pro quo to gain Mayor Adams' support for federal immigration initiatives. And this is wild.
And from what I understood is that everyone kept resigning. So apparently this went from an ask from the Justice Department to telling them. And apparently what happened is, my understanding is that they got all the available judges together in a room and essentially said, who wants to sign this? And everyone was like, I don't want to sign this. I'm not signing this. Right. And they basically said, who here is getting ready to retire the soonest? Cool. Here's your pen. You go ahead and sign this, so you can go ahead and sign this and go ahead and retire.
Bro, that is wild. And I think that in her new appointed role, Attorney General Pam Bondi, she defended the action, emphasizing a focus on prosecuting serious criminals and dismissing politically motivated cases. And this is why, and I think I shared it to you before, this is why people have an issue with the integrity of the Justice Department. If Pam Bondi is saying, and like Donald Trump has said, that we need to basically reinforce or reestablish the integrity of the Department of Justice, how in God's name are we doing this? This is not a politically motivated case. The man did something wrong. Like,
the
I don't
paperwork says that he was out here globetrotting. He was in a Turkish movie.
Bruh, this man is accepting money from a foreign nation for favors. You can't do that when you are in a political office.
You can't do that now. You can't do that previously. We in a new day, man. There's new rules.
But this is my problem in all of this is that, you know,
where's the line?
Bro, thank you.
When do we say
stop? Freaking line where it's like, so you're telling me, and this is why I had such a problem with the Supreme Court and the immunity thing. Where is the line now? Because if you ask me, there ain't no line. It depends on who you know, what you know, and who can get it done for you. Because there is not a single line that if I'm in a political office and I do something that is against the moves of this political office, and now I know that if I have somebody that is in a higher place that is able to sway the outcome of my crimes, then where is the threshold that holds me accountable for not doing these things?
I'm sorry. All right, so you're spot on. I'm going to take a quick pause and tell everyone why I'm black. So I found a Sharpie on my desk, and it's one of these big Sharpies.
Oh, you got a Trump Sharpie.
So I was like, I wonder what my signature would look like if I tried to write it. Oh, okay. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted because I did a Trump-esque signature. Like, he got a wild signature. Anyway, but you're right. Where's the line? Where do we stop playing around with this? Look, and we talked about this in the pre-pod. One of the things that I learned very early on from a mentor of mine is that you never work with anyone that doesn't believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
And at no point am I getting ready to weigh into the spiritual relationships of Donald Trump with the Most High. He says he's a Christian, so I just have to believe that the Holy Spirit is in him.
Take his word for it.
Yeah. So, but all I know is that in terms of working with people, that if you don't work with people with a belief in a higher power, there is no moral compass. I'm not saying that Trump doesn't have a moral compass. That's not what I'm not saying. I'm saying I don't fully understand what directions his moral compass points. Because
he has a moral compass. It's just broken.
Because again, like this is the whole Thanos with all of this stuff, the stuff that we're seeing in Ukraine, the stuff we're seeing in Israel, the stuff we're seeing here, the stuff we're seeing with immigration. Like, it's a Thanos question. Like, you have the ability to you have shown that you have the ability to do things and do them really, really fast.
Yeah.
So instead of snapping your finger and making half of the population of the universe disappear, why not snap your finger and double resources? Yeah. Like, you could be doing so much more to help people. And you're rich. You've won capital. I feel like after you get past $1 billion, congratulations, you won capitalism. You've won it. Why not just help people?
I don't understand, man. Help the right people. Help the right people.
Sorry, yeah. We got to say that. Help. People are getting help.
People getting help. It just ain't the right people. I just think, man, with this, it obviously it hasn't been received well. The situation has just made things, I feel like, even more stickier. I feel like the notion that, And Trump said this whole thing of, this politically motivated things and how the DOJ operates at the working of its political enemies. I feel like this is a similar fashion of favors for your political friends.
Yeah.
Just as much as you would say that they may weaponize the Department of Justice to pursue their political enemies, you doing favors for your political friends is just as wrong too. Adams, I don't agree with this, and I said it on my personal social media account that I felt like this was a slap in the American people's face. You said it earlier, man, when we talked in pre-production that what we see here is the things we've all probably have speculated at some point that the moves in a way that is of this similar fashion. But now to say the words that you said, they're just doing the quiet parts out loud now.
Quiet part out loud. And this is not the first time. So if you look back historically, there's 5 other times that I was able to find where the Justice Department or federal authorities in general have weighed in to legal proceedings. It happened with Spiro Agnew, Vice President of the U.S. Agnew was under federal investigation for bribery and tax evasion from the time he was Maryland's governor. Caspar Weinberg, who was the Secretary of Defense under Reagan, he was indicted for perjury and obstruction of justice related back to the Iran-Contra affair. You have Mark Richard Pardon. Rich was a billionaire fugitive indicted for tax evasion. The U.S. attorney's firing in 2006 during the Bush administration, where they had several U.S. attorneys who were fired by the Bush administration allegedly for not prosecuting cases that would have benefited Republicans politically. That was an interesting one. And the one that we all know and familiar with, Rod Blagojevich, who, and if you remember that, Trump hopped down and commuted his sentence for trying to sell Obama's vacated Senate seat, and then came back and followed that up with an expungement in this go around. But yeah, that's what's happening now. Like, I think we as a people, as Americans, we've always theorized that stuff like this was happening, that people were getting off, that calls were made and other calls were made and people got off. And now it's just all that quiet stuff out loud. We're like, oh, they're just kind of like, well, since y'all know we do it and we know we do it, y'all, we're spending a whole lot of extra energy trying to hide from y'all.
Trying to keep it quiet.
So we're just going to do it now. Because y'all really not that upset about it, right? Because y'all knew about it and y'all hadn't really said anything. So we're just going to do it out loud now. And yeah, welcome to America, the quiet part out loud.
This is America. So, that I thought that was pretty wild when you think about the direction of the Department of Justice. And I think a lot of the questions that people had around Pam Bondi and her approach to the Department of Justice, I believe that what we heard in her interviews or whatever you call it, her hearings, in her hearings, I believe that we can probably say
we got the confirmation.
Yep. We got confirmation that what indeed was a lot of things they thought she may actually be doing. So, yeah, man, we'll see what this looks like going forward. This is the first action, I believe, of the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi. So her first act, and
freeing a criminal, saving a black job.
Yeah, I know somebody who pissed off old boy that's in New Jersey, the Democrat guy. Right. They got with them gold bars. He like,
sent him up the creek. Y'all not gonna help me? Nah, man. You don't serve a purpose to us in the administration at this point.
Nope. And that's the problem. So we'll see what happens with Department of Justice and what other moves they will make. But I think they have set the precedence of what type of Department of Justice we can see over the next course of this administration. So with that being said, you would have thought, in all honesty,
that we'd already hit the pickle.
That was the pickle of the week, but it was not. But we are now at our segment for the pickle of the week.
We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle.
Oh boy.
Jeez, like I now every week to week I have no idea who you're going to have for this segment because it could be anybody. It could be everybody. So tell us who is in the brine this week.
Well, I think you've already hit it on the head. It's everybody. The pickle of the week is America. Yep. And like I told Manny, it's getting to a point where we got so much going on that we may have to change it from the pickle of the week to the pickle of the month. And then you can't not be a pickle anymore until your situation gets better.
Right.
We had to treat it like a sick and shut-in list.
But keep on praying for Brother America. They're going through some things right now.
Brother America's still dealing. He's still sick. So yeah, America is our pickle of the week, and the reason why I just want to run over a few things with that are taking place from a job perspective, and why I'm saying that America is the pickle of the week. So Chevron is cutting 20% of its workforce by 2026. Meta has cut 5% of its workforce, which is about 4,000 jobs. If you like Joann's Crafts, shout out to Joann and shout out to Crafts. They're closing 500 of their 800 stores. The Department of Veteran Affairs has fired 1,000 employees. 75,000 of the U.S. federal workers have accepted Trump's buyout program, which I believe now is in full go because I believe a judge has signed off that that basically gave them the green light. They fired 400 employees from the Department of Homeland Security, and then they fired 300 employees from the National Nuclear Security Administration, but then they had to bring those 300 employees back because Trump in his administration did not realize that they oversaw the country's weapons stockpile. So a whole lot of trimming is going on, and as we could tell by the last one, some of these we don't even know the implications.
We don't know, man.
We don't even know the implications of what they do or how they do these things. But there are a lot of cuts going on, and ultimately, I just have a feeling that we're going to be 6 months, 8 months down the road, and everything is just going to look crazy. And plus, in case you didn't know, America, Waffle House now charges a surcharge on eggs if you go eat eggs at the restaurant. America's restaurant has now charging surcharges on eggs.
And that should be the canary in the coal mine.
Bruh, yes, it should be. If you do not know the state of America, if you're unsure, if you say, hey, I'm a Democrat and I don't believe nothing a Republican says, and if you're a Republican and you say, I don't believe nothing a Democrat says, you don't have to believe any party affiliation.
You can believe this All-Star special.
Believe in the yellow and brown. Believe in Waffle House. Waffle House has never failed a single American. So if Waffle House is telling you that they have to charge you a surcharge, not for your order of eggs, but for every single egg you order, that should tell you where we're at. So America, we in a pickle. Right. We in a pickle. I love eggs, and I got half a dozen in my fridge I hadn't touched in weeks because I just feel like I'm just gonna be when I eat that last egg, bro. I'm just gonna be sad to go to the grocery store and look and see what the prices of eggs are right now.
Pay $78.58,
bro. I went to Sam's yesterday. I should have looked. This was wild because I was in Sam's yesterday getting weekly snacks from my 4-year-old for school, and it was like these yogurt things that I picked up. It was a case of these yogurt things, and they were like $12 for whatever the case was. And I'm picking them up, and I'm thinking, $12 isn't bad. The lady beside me says, "Yeah, I come here every week to get snacks for my grandkids." She said those same yogurt packs were $9 last week. I said, "Bruh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I'm trying to act like I'm trying to act like I'm just naive to what's going on, so that it don't impact me that bad."
Nah,
But when she
it's
told
bad.
me that, I looked at my wife and I was like, "Bruh, America
That's
in
some
a pickle.
bullshit. That's some bullshit.
America in a pickle."
That's some
Bruh,
bull.
a week ago, these were
Wait,
$3 cheaper.
$3.
Oh yeah, bro. And we hadn't even got kicked off good. We ain't got 100 days in this administration.
Bruh,
Oh yeah, bro.
None of the tariffs are really in yet.
Nah, that's what I'm sitting here like, bro.
Bruh,
America is in a pickle, bro.
Bro, I'm about to do like you. I'm about to roll up to Target, go ahead and get me some T-shirts and some drawers. Because these things about to be $400.
I done told y'all, bro. You better go look. You better go get you some T-shirts and drawers, bro. Some socks.
Bro.
You better go get them essentials, bro. Bro, I'm about to start preparing, bro, for real. Like, and winter ain't even got here yet, bro. I can only imagine when all these things kick into place, and we already don't have the personnel that'll be in place because we had to do all this cutting of jobs. Cost is gonna go up because as they've asked Trump. So what have you done to necessarily sign into place or do to actually bring down the cost of any of these things? And he's just like, well, Sharpies write nice.
But
and
Sharpies do write nice.
They do.
They do write nice.
They do.
So I understand
I
why
love
he
a good
uses
Sharpie
one.
pen. The pens are very nice. A little thin look, bro. I love them. But ain't nothing he signed helping them prices come down. And from what we have seems to be the indication, there is no stoppage to these prices going up.
Oh no, because the Fed is like, we are not going to lower rates to help speed this up. Nope.
Nah. And I think they had Powell in and they asked him something about the economy. And it was funny because they were like, so is the economy like bad? And he was like, nah, actually the economy was pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Republicans kind of were like, so what do you mean? He's like, nah, like I wouldn't trade our economy with any other economy in the world right now. Like we're doing really
have
good.
Low unemployment.
Yep.
Our GDP is still above 2%.
Yep.
Like nothing is frozen. Banks aren't collapsing. It just feels horrible. It feels horrible. It feels horrible, and prices are a whole lot higher than they were 6 years ago.
Yeah. But from outside of that perspective, we're doing fairly good.
We're doing pretty good. Pretty good.
So I would love to see what that looks like going forward. But
right around our birthday, right?
Look,
come August, how y'all feeling,
bro? When the 1 year anniversary of the pod comes, I would love to see where we're at that point. And I hope for all of us in America that we are no longer a pickle, and we will be out of the brine. So
let me tell you. We still going to be in the pickle.
Oh, bro. I know it.
I have little hope that
one of my goals, maybe in this podcast is to, and I think I'm going to be forced to do this, is to relinquish my feeling of hope and just be like, this is what it is. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. I want to have hope.
The jokes are going to come naturally, but look, man, just see, geez, I feel like we're both on a roller coaster, and not both of us. The entire country, we're on a roller coaster. But since it's just you and I, we're on a roller coaster. I know this is going to be bad. I felt like you hopped on this roller coaster saying, "Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time." I'm already on this roller coaster saying, you know what? This is going to be horrible. Bro. I'm just going to laugh my way through it. And geez, I feel like you're like, bro, I don't want to be on this ride no more. This is not. I thought this was the tilt-a-whirl. Things are tilting and things are whirling, but this is not the children's ride I anticipated it being.
I am on a roller coaster, and I regret that I had that hot dog before I got on this roller coaster. I'm regretting I had that burger and shake before I got on this ride. That's how I feel.
Because it ain't sitting right.
I'm having a hard time keeping it down. I'm having a hard time keeping it down, bro. I'm just hoping this ride will end before I just upchuck every single thing I got in my body. But it ain't looking good.
It ain't looking good. Oh, man.
But that is our pickle of the week, man. So with that being said, as always, we are at the end of our episode. And at the end of every episode, we give you guys our spotlight of the week. So, Manny, what are your spotlights for this week coming up, man?
Man, well, I'm tired of talking about politics for right now. I decided to do something non-politically related for my spotlight this week that is still politically linked because that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
So for those of you who may not be aware, right now is going on the NHL, National Hockey League, is on a break because they have a in-season tournament called the Four Nation Face-Off. U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland all have their players. The NHL players have not been allowed to participate in international competitions, so like World Cups and the Olympics in the last 10 years. So this is the first time that we're getting best on best play in hockey. Mm-hmm. Well, last night you had the two favorites in the tournament are the U.S. and Canada. And last night, these two teams faced off against one another. So before I get to game, let's talk about the lead up to the game. So the broadcast announcer, you hear them in the arena. They're like, hey, y'all, in the spirit of hockey and competition, please don't boo the anthems. Jeez. Now, I denote, they're playing the first half of this tournament in Montreal, Canada. So they are in Canada. Sir, I've never heard the U.S. anthem booed like it was booed last night by that crowd in Montreal. Booed them out the room. But then it was a little change up because in the first 9 seconds of a game, there were 3 fights. Shout out to the Kachuk brothers. And who was the last person who got in a fight? Brady Kachuk, Matthew Kachuk, and JT Miller got out there and started throwing hands with the Canadians en route to a 3-1 victory for the U.S.
Hey.
So, yes, we are in the finals that will be played on Thursday.
Do we know who we playing in the finals?
We don't. It's going to be between Canada, between the other 3 countries. So there's still one more game in a round-robin tournament that happens on Monday, and that will decide who the U.S. faces in TD Garden in Boston on Thursday. Ooh. So I low-key want it to be Canada again. Let's see how it goes now that we're on American soil.
Yeah, I hope it's Canada again. Like, make it. Yeah, let's see that energy when you come down to Boston, because we already know how Boston give it up.
Boy,
Boston don't play
at all. So, and then the last one, a real estate agent in Omaha, Nebraska, got an unexpected house guest when a hungry possum ate an entire tuxedo chocolate mousse cake that she had bought from Costco and got hospitalized.
Bruh.
That's wild. And first of all, those Costco cakes be huge.
Definitely be huge. And I think this might be a matter that RFK might need to look into.
I need him to investigate.
What kind of ingredients were in this cake that made this possum sick?
If a possum can't eat an entire cake in America and be fine, what kind of country do we live in?
What kind of country do we live in that a cake it can make a possum not just sick but hospitalized? Who hospitalizes a possum, bro? I have never. This is not a cat. This is not a dog. This is not a domesticated animal. This is a wild animal that y'all took to the hospital. First of all, the owner is wild, because if I walk in my house and there's a possum and my cake is ate,
look, first I'm I'm be angry because why? How did this possum get in my house?
Bro, how did he get in the house? How did he get in the cake? Because if it's in them lids, we know them lids, bro.
They be hard,
when you open them,
hard and loud.
You can hear it around the corner in the neighborhood, bro, with somebody opening one of them cakes, bro. There are so many questions in this.
I got questions.
I got questions, and I need answers, bro. That's wild.
Kim Doggett, if you are listening to the pod, please reach out. We'd love to have you on the pod because we need to understand what happened with this cake and this possum.
We need answers.
We need answers.
Bro, that's wild.
But those are my spotlights of the week, man. What you got for us?
Well, I'm going to keep mine a little along the political side. And it was announced this past week, that Trump plans to impose tariffs on imported automobiles effective on April the 2nd. So the tariff will apply to all imported cars, potentially impacting major automobile exporters in the United States, including Japan and European countries. And of course, we know is with tariffs, and this is in line with what he's been doing with tariffs and his policy. He's hoping to somehow sway the market. But again, we know how these tariffs work and how potentially they could be more harm than good. So we will see. But if you're looking to buy a car, you might want to do it before April the 2nd. I know tax season coming up, so if you're looking to buy a car during tax season, you might want to hurry up and do it in March, because you do it in April, you might be in a pickle.
Well, allegedly I don't know, because Doge is allegedly supposed to be going after the IRS next. So. So if you were depending on a tax return.
Hey, bro, let me go ahead and file my taxes before that mess get all... Before they get in there, some 19-year-old kid tell me that I got to owe $27,000 in taxes. I'm like, this number don't sound right.
Man.
And my last one I'll just say is, on February the 14th, a Russian drone carrying a high explosive warhead struck a new safe confinement structure at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine. It says that this impact caused significant damage to the protective shelter over Reactor 4 and ignited a fire, which was extinguished. But it is believed that by Vladimir Zelensky, that this was an act of terrorism and that Russia meant to do this. Now, of course, you already know how Russia get it popping. They say, what? We knew no such thing.
Not us. Wow. We wouldn't do that. That's dangerous.
First of all, why is this drone even near Chernobyl in the first place?
Why is it near Chernobyl?
Ain't nobody there.
Nobody. It is a giant structure over this trying to protect this. Nobody
is within, I would assume, a miles radius of this facility. So why was this? And it was carrying a warhead. Okay, Russia. But anyway, this is just another element that adds to this Russia-Ukraine war.
I would just figure, like, okay, so I put myself in Putin's shoes. I want to conquer Ukraine. Cool. Why would I want to conquer Ukraine and have to fix a nuclear fallout issue all on the same?
Bruh.
But make it make sense.
It's a whole lot of voodoo and hoodoo going on. A lot going on right now. But Zelensky said that this was an act of terrorism, and Putin just said, I didn't do anything. Oops, my bad. It wasn't on purpose, but yeah, man. I just wonder how that shapes just where the direction of this war is going, and ultimately, as we talked about earlier in the episode, where negotiations will be. So those are my spotlights of the week, man. So that is all that we have for our episode. We thank you for tuning in. Man, you got anything? All hearts and minds clear, brother?
Hey, as clear as it's going to be till next week. And before we leave, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, the first prediction from the pod that we actually got right. Congratulations on you guys on winning the Super Bowl and taking down Riley Curry and
Yep.
the Kansas City Chiefs preventing
We
the
ap-
three-peat. We appreciate your work.
We appreciate you doing what was needed in a time
In a timely
of
fashion.
in a time of turmoil which we live in. Thank you for giving us that joy of seeing the not the Chiefs get beat, but get demolished.
Throttled. Throttled.
We thank you for that, and we appreciate that greatly. So shout out to the city of Philly, man. Philly is a cool place, man. I've been there for a game, and those fans are ridiculous, but they are a fun group to be around. So shout out to y'all and enjoy that Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're
that
good
is-
here, y'all.
That is our episode. So if all hearts and minds clear, remember, as the chaos continues to go on in this great country we call America, domestically and globally, just remember at the end of the day that if don't nobody love you, the boys here
Boys
at the
here at the
podcast,
pod do.
we love you. So take care. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode, world. Thanks.